wanna heal?
Yeah.
Wait, I gotta feel it? No. Ooh, I just don't know. But I wanna grow. Where can I go? To a safe place.
Hello, family, and welcome to another season of a Safe Space podcast. I missed you guys so much. And if you happen to still be an acquaintance of a Safe Space podcast, come on now. It's time to subscribe. Click the link below and join us on our YouTube channel at a safe space __ podcast. You can do it. I am your host, Michaella Forbes, and this season is called The Second Time Around. The second time around. Yeah, I asked God for a singer voice. I don't know what he did, but it's called that for a few reasons. This is season 2 of a Safe Space podcast, and we are exploring the second time around in terms of dating after divorce, engagement after divorce, and remarriage. Exciting stuff. I am excited. Are you excited?
I am.
I want to thank you all who subscribed, shared, commented last season. And especially those who messaged me and told me that even though they've never been divorced, never been married, they're single, they learned a lot. I want you to know that this is why I do what I do, and it really meant a lot. Let's get into it. She is no stranger to a Safe Space podcast, okay? She appeared on every episode of season 1, and that wasn't planned. She was just so good. I said, keep coming back. Keep coming back. She was just so good. She's my leader of divorce care group at Legacy Church, and she helped us through healing after divorce, and now she will help us through second time around. Welcome back, Miss Christina. Hey, Rhea.
Hey, Michaella.
Hey, lady in red.
Listen,
Okay.
you know, I had to pop it out.
She popped it out, okay? Just for you.
Yes.
So, Rhea, last season, I remember a friend who is, she's like my mentor, and she has her own podcast. She said, the episode was so good, but I want to know more about Rhea's story. Like, I get pieces and pieces, but I don't get it in like the full picture. So I say, hey, why Rhea don't sit on for the first episode and tell us more about her story? Rhea, you ready for that?
Boy, I don't even know if I'm ready for that.
But we can do it.
Yeah,
We
man.
can do it. If it helps with somebody's healing or helps somebody, I say we can do it. We can do it. Okay?
Yeah,
so
man.
you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's
go.
do this. So, Rhea, can you share with our viewership your story on marriage, divorce, and divorce?
Okay, so my story, just a little backdrop of where I started. I got married at the age of 19. It was after I found out that I was pregnant. And I decided, we might as well just finish it off. Let's just go ahead and get married. And so this wasn't somebody who I did not know.
Yes.
This is somebody who I knew for years before that. Even though I said I got married at 19, we were, talking for a very long time, for years before.
Yes.
And after that, life was lifing, and marriage was margin, and margin. Yeah, that's what I used to say right now. And eventually, after having, as with any marriage, we've had our share of challenges, right? And in having our share of challenges, we, for me, of course, both of us being a part of church, I was like, listen, let's do counseling. Right. And in having to have the conversation about counseling, there wasn't so much the receptivity of us going to counseling because it was somebody else's opinion about how our marriage should be ran.
And it really tell me how to do so. No pressure to be able to tell me how to do my marriage.
I didn't say it, but you said it, right? And so those are some of the things that actually came up. And I think one of the things, even for me in particular, as a young person growing up and wanting to be very progressive and having to do a lot of things, there were times when, the support that I probably would have loved to have had in those moments, I simply didn't have it. And that put a toll, as you could imagine. You know, you're still trying to go ahead and hold it all together and have the image that, well, not even just the image, but really just wanting to pursue the dreams, the goals, the aspirations, the things that I knew that God had called me to.
Yes.
And after a while, it was, you know, something, this just isn't working anymore. And that was that. So I'll sum that up as my story. Even having to go through the divorce process, I'll share this much. Because we have 2 kids, and they were much younger at the time when we did go through the divorce process. It was a lot that they had to go through as well, having to navigate the space of divorce with us. And I remember, of course, you know, trying to figure out, God, when is the right time? When is the right time to go through a divorce process? And really and truly, there is no right time. There's never a right time. Never. And I was like, you know something, I just simply need to have a conversation with my kids just to let them know that, listen, there's nothing wrong with you. This has nothing to do with you. This has everything to do with us, me and your father, our relationship and what that looks like. Wow. And I also took the time to explain to them, I said, listen, at the end of the day, that's your father. No matter what happens, he is your father. And you need to respect him as such. Okay. And if you, at some given point in time, feel as though you man or woman and you choose not to respect your father, and in my presence, we're going to have a problem.
We're going to have a problem. Okay, you do,
we're gonna
have a problem.
We're going to have a problem.
Yes.
Because it doesn't matter what our relationship challenge may be. That has nothing, I mean, while I'm saying it has nothing to do with you, it has something to do with them, but I still need them to still be very respectful no matter what, no matter how they felt about the relationship, whether or not we broke something up, you know, family is not together anymore. Because, you know, we like to have the image that we have it all together. Yes, we have our home and, you know, we had our nice professional jobs.
I say, I don't want the image. I want the real thing. I said that many times. Forget the image. I want the real thing. Yeah. And if the real thing in here, don't put it out on Facebook that we, don't not. I want
That's
the real
a different story altogether.
Thing. Okay. Because sometimes it's like Facebook's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Okay?
It definitely is.
It's okay, second time around. How has your dating life been since divorce? Because you said you've been divorced now, how much years now?
Listen, this year's going to make it 5 years.
5 years, okay.
And Michaella, you put me on the spot with this question. I don't know why you won't put me on the spot with this question, but to be very honest and very can I be transparent just for a moment?
Please do.
I actually haven't been on a date.
Look at camera and tell them that. Look at him, tell them that.
I haven't been on a date. I actually haven't. I haven't.
When you told me that, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. You have not been on a date in 5 years.
No, I haven't.
Let's dive a little deeper. So is there a reason for that? Let's dive a little deeper.
Well, you know. So why haven't I been on a date? I'll actually chalk it up as, has anybody asked?
Has anybody asked? Rhea, do you see this natural hair lady in the red? Do you see this?
Don't watch
that. So you're trying to tell me no brave gentleman.
Listen, now, Michaella, what we don't want to have happen to say what happened was after this show, right? Because you already have me being very, very vulnerable and very, very transparent. And guess what? It's okay, right? Because the reality of it is there may be those of us that's in that space where we are, and I'm okay with where I'm at because I'm appreciating me in this moment, having to grow with my children. One of the conscious decisions that I actually made after divorce was I did not want my children to experience mommy with this one, that one, and the other one. That was something that I chose not to do for the sake of my children. They are now adults, right? And even earlier on, they had said to me, but mommy, when are you going to start dating? And I'm like,
Both of them said it?
Yeah, both of them.
Both of them said it.
Both of them asked me, when am I going to start dating?
What was the answer?
I'm like, give me time.
Give you time.
But see, and I really, really, really did not want them to experience having too many different people coming around. And then I wanted to set an example. My youngest is my daughter. I need to be that example for her. that, listen, at the end of the day, while you might do some exploring, yeah, but it's going to all be within reason. Right. And so I chose not to. And at this particular point in time, both of them being adults,
Yes.
Who knows what may come in this 2024? I don't know.
I understand that completely. I feel like a lot of my friends who have gone through divorce, they put their kids first. I mean, for a long time, it's almost like, no, it's just going to be me and the kids. And then they put their dating kind of on the back burner. But I think we're open now, because you are at a great healing point. The next step is, let's see. So guys, you see the lady in red?
Michaella,
You
stop.
can private message me at a Safe Space podcast. Okay? Okay.
This is a safe space dating app or dating service. What is happening?
Yeah. Whatever you want to call it. If you see this lady, DM me, okay? Okay.
I don't even know how I feel about that.
What are your beliefs on remarriage? Because I've seen so much different videos on remarriage. And even a friend of mine, we were discussing it, and she was like, do you realize that the Bible only says get divorced because of, I think it was adultery? She said, I didn't find abuse. I didn't find anything. I said, so we better read it. So it says adultery. It doesn't say abuse or whatever. So she's saying, so if you left your marriage because of abuse or something like that, should you not get remarried? And I was like, I have to really go deeper into that and deeper into reading the Bible on that. I know there's grace, but what are your beliefs on remarriage after divorce?
I'm not challenged with it. I'm not challenged with there being remarriage after divorce. At the end of the day, while for me in particular, and I could use myself as an example, having to get married at the age of 19, having to experience life, having to go through the just growing up,
yes.
becoming an adult, being a parent, and knowing what it's like to start to build a career and that sort of stuff. Understanding, even as I'm going through life, what I want, what I don't want, what I like, what I dislike. And then to also coming to the realization that for me, having to be pregnant doesn't necessarily say that you have to get married. I mean, and this is not something, that's not the popular opinion by a lot of people, right? And it was just something, right? You don't have to. You know,
get to choose.
One of those things that my mom said to me, and I will never forget this day when I said to her that I was pregnant. She said to me, she's like, Ria, you're not going to be the first and you won't be the last. And it's the same thing with even having to go through a divorce and even looking at the possibility of being remarried. I'm not going to be the first and I surely won't be the last person that would have to experience that. And for me, there's, if love finds me again, then who knows? I may actually say, let me go ahead and do this thing.
Okay. Let's stay there. If love finds you again, you might say, let's do this thing. I know you've not started dating yet, but I think sometimes we know if we strongly desire remarriage or a partner, like deep down, we kind of know that's something we strongly desire. Maybe not now, maybe it's the timing, but
I think for me, it's timing.
It's timing.
It's timing. It's definitely timing. At this particular point in my life, I'm just going after, this is where I'm at. I can build my career. I can make sure my children are straight, at this point with them being adults, them having to come to me with other questions now because my son says this to me. He's like, Mommy, this adulting, this ain't easy.
Somebody say this adulting is ghetto. This adulting is this ghetto.
It's like, Mommy, this ain't easy. So at this particular point, it's still putting my children at the forefront of where it is that I am. And
how
not
old
to
are they now?
Man, why are you trying to put me
How old
on?
are they? No, I mean you were on the same age.
My son, my son is 23.
Okay,
he's going to be 24 this year.
Yes.
And my daughter is 17, and she's about to be 18.
Me and you are on the same age. I could count almost. I think I older than you, but anyway.
Yeah.
The point, people, scratch that part out.
Yeah, yeah, but definitely. Is it something that I desire at some point? If it finds me, like I'm not that person that's going out there looking for it. Yes. If it comes to me, then I just may,
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. If it comes to you, whether it comes to you through a Safe Space podcast or anywhere else where the Holy Spirit leads.
Michaella,
I do this with you, and I do the same with my sister. Everybody know my sister is. I do the same with her. Yes.
Well,
open. We are open. I say, sister, smile, smile. So, Ria, I'm so appreciative of you sharing more of your story. I know it's not easy. Everybody cannot share their story from this type of loss. It's a very vulnerable place, and I just thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, family, that's Ria's story. We'll be right back after this break. A special thanks goes out to all our sponsors. Jadazzle's Clothing, Hair by Onyx, Makeup by Ajua, Maybelline, distributed by Lowe's Pharmacy, Chatimere Natural Nails, and Patrick Robinson's Photography and Designs. Thank you again.
Hi, I'm Dr. Enrica Richardson, licensed marriage and family therapist and a friend to the Safe Space podcast. Here is a tip for life after divorce. Time to focus on yourself and put yourself first. To simply say it, you need to love yourself before loving someone else. There is absolutely no better time than now for self-care and nurturing your needs. Remember that you matter. So spend some time getting to know you, understanding what you want, what you like, and what you dislike, so that you can communicate those to every other relationship in your life. Spend some time with you, and it's okay to be a little selfish, to become self-full.
Hello, family, and welcome back to a Safe Space podcast. Now, if you still happen to be an acquaintance, listen, I need you to come on in. Come and be a part of the family. And this is where you go to the YouTube channel and you subscribe. So this is the @asafespace_podcast. All right? You can do that for me, right? I hope so. Now, listen. Today, I have the awesome privilege of sitting in the big chair as the co-host of a Safe Space podcast. And I have, hold on, you don't even know my name yet. Hey, my name is Christina. Yes, that's who I am. And I have the awesome privilege of having a conversation with the giant of a lady. The giant of a lady who actually have me sitting in this seat here today. Michaella, welcome to, well, now sitting in the other seat, the hot seat.
The seat feels like the hot seat.
So, Michaella, we're going to have this conversation, and the conversation is really geared around us trying to understand or hear a little bit more about your story. We've had season 1, and I think season 1 was an amazing, a success, right? Out the water success. And we want to know, who is Michaella and what is Michaella's divorce story? So tell us a little bit about your marriage, your divorce story, as much as you want us to know right now.
Yes. Thank you, Ria, and thank you for being my co-host. I just want to start by saying I'm a very open person. Like, I'm an open book. But sharing your story when it comes to divorce is never easy. So this is not easy, but I'm going to push through. So when I think about my marriage, I'm going to go back to, I was married for about 15 years, and we dated for about 3 years before that. So I'm going to go way back. It took me a very long time to unpack my story, whether it was therapy, talking to people, talking to God. It took me a very long time to unpack my story. I will try to summarize it, but I'm going to unpack it for you today. So just say 18 years ago, I was in a very, very serious relationship since I was 18 to about 25, and I was ready for marriage. I would say, hey, we've been together 6 years. What are we doing? And he was obviously not ready. So I think I broke up with him, and I said, the next one, I get married. The next one, I get married. The clock is ticking, I'm ready. And literally 2 weeks later, you know how we talked about, some people say, he who finds a good wife finds a good thing? What about she who goes looking for a husband? So We were in the club. I saw a guy. He wasn't dancing. Everybody was dancing, having fun. I'm dancing wild out. But one guy was sitting in the corner just watching. And I was like, oh, he seems, So my friend ended up talking to him at the end of the day because she knew him from, I think, a job. And she said, I think my friend likes you, so give her a call. Okay. And she gave him my number. And he called. But how I want to backtrack is that I was just 2 weeks out of a very, very serious relationship. Relationship where I was quite in love, and we had a really strong friendship. And before then, I could have jumped from relationship to relationship and be okay. And I thought I still was going to be okay, because I didn't have my father in my life till I was about 40. He was absent father. And then I saw my mother go from relationship to relationship. Sorry, mommy. Like literally, I would meet a guy one day and I would like him. And then she wouldn't even say they broken up. But before she even broke up with that guy, there was another guy there. And that was very repetitive in my life. So I didn't have a father, so I was looking for love. And then I watched my mom go from relationship to relationship before she even broke up with the first relationship. So I thought, that was what I saw, and that is what I did. Not knowing that particular relationship, I needed a break. I needed to step back and heal. I was so mad. I was so mad that I wasted these years. I didn't even give the man closure.
Oh, Lord.
Every time he called me, showed my job, I was like, y'all, tell him I'm not here. I don't care what y'all tell him. I didn't give this man closure. And he called me before he got married, and he got his closure at that time. I was already married. When he called me, he was getting married because he had never gotten closure from me. I'm moving on. See you. Bye. That was a mistake. Don't jump from relationship to relationship. Actually get your closure, whether it's talking to a person or just getting it from God or staying single. So literally, I met my ex-husband within 2 weeks. We dated. We went on about 3 dates, and we was exclusive in 3 weeks. He was consistent. Like, we went out tonight, tomorrow he won't go out again. We literally went out almost every day for 3 weeks. And he said, let's be exclusive. And I'm like, yeah. So it was a very consistent dating, but I didn't ask a lot of questions. He was very quiet, and I was very outspoken. So I would just carry the conversation. If he didn't want to talk about something, I would just go and talk about something else. Like, I had more energy for both of us. So the dating process went very smoothly. There was not much challenges. And I said in my mind, we marrying this one. And we talk about marriage a lot. And he even proposed before I thought he would propose. So he proposed, he shocked me because we would talk about marriage a lot, but we never talk about the timing. He proposed it was 2 years and he proposed. And I said I wanted to be engaged for a little while. We were engaged for a little while, and then we got married. How about when I say, you don't know somebody until you live with them? That is very, very true, and that was my reality. Because even in the honeymoon stage, it was a challenge. For the first year we moved in, even in 6 months, I had an idea that we had a problem. He would come home late, like not even allow us to have a honeymoon. So he worked a lot, so from the first year, I'm like, hey, why do you work so much? He doesn't talk a lot, so it was like almost like dragging things out of him. And we found ourselves in counseling with the counselor who did our pre-marriage in 6 months. Wow. We found ourselves back in counseling. Because you know what? We have to work it out. Let's go talk to somebody. I went back to the counselor, and he said, you know what, y'all come back. So it didn't get any better from there. He still worked late. And I said, you know what? It's early. This is marriage. We got to do this. At 2 years, I thought we had problems, like he was working late. At 2 years, we were faced with one of the biggest traumas of my life. And at 2 years, I knew we had problems, almost problems that we could not come back from. So I was acting on a stage, Bahamas Harvest Church. Everybody know I'm the drama lead at Bahamas Harvest Church. And I was the lead actress in a Stormproof. My series is called a Stormproof. And I think I was so into that, I stomped, and I forgot that I was pregnant with my second child. She's here. And before I reached 6 months, I think I was 5 months or some, that same evening, going home, I had some pain from church. And then by the time after dinner, the pain got so excruciating that I was like, I need to go to the doctor. Something's happened. I don't know what's happening, but something's happening. And literally, before I reached in the hospital, my water bag burst. Everything burst. And they came out and they got me. And I'm like, what's going on? Can I be having a baby? It's 5 months. Like, what? So they were awesome. They took my daughter. She was not breathing on her own. She had to breathe from all kind of tubes. And she was 1 pound. So we were about to go through a storm. I didn't know it was coming. We went through the storm, literally, of our lives. And my daughter is here fighting for her life, right? And when I tell you that my husband just didn't talk at all, and he went completely into himself, and he went completely absent physically, mentally, and emotionally, even to the point where it's the first week of having the baby, so I'm still sore. He said, I'm going to go away and finish this exam that I'm doing. And I'm like, you're going away and finish your exam you're doing? He said, yeah, the baby's not home. I'm going to go and finish the exam we're doing. So I was like, okay. So he went away. And I was like, so I'm here. I think he was going to go away for 2 weeks. I don't remember the timing. I'm here. Baby's not here. My mom took my son, who was 2 at that time, to help him so I can heal. I remember this. I was in the house with myself. And I said, okay, I might as well go back to work then, because my daughter's not here. Let me go back to work. I feel strong. You know, we always think we're strong. Literally, after 3 days back to work, I felt like, okay, something's going on. Something's going on in my body. I went to the bathroom. Literally, blood filled up in the bathroom, like in a second. In a second, it was like a blink of an eye, and all I saw was just blood everywhere. And I only had time to literally open the door, to faint outside the bathroom door, and somebody to see me and call the ambulance. And literally, I don't remember even being in the ambulance. I don't remember anything. But I was hospitalized. They asked me one question. Which hospital do you want me to take you to? And I said, PMH. My daughter's in PMH. I don't even know how I got to say PMH. My daughter's in PMH. And I went to PMH, and I remember that story. That was awful. PMH took good care of my daughter, but not me. They found out that the afterbirth was still in me, and I had to have surgery. So my husband's family, they rallied around me, and they got a phone to me somehow, and then I called him, and he said, do you want me to come home? I'm in the hospital. His daughter's in the hospital. Do you want me to come home? I said, if you want to come home. And he chose not to come home. And that broke my heart. And I didn't say it broke my heart. I think that's where I went wrong. I didn't say it broke my heart. That day, I think I kind of like Superwoman. I got me. I got my kids. I got God. Like, all I can think about is my daughter needs to survive. Okay, I can't even think about the emotional pain and everything else that I'm handling right now. I was 30. I literally only had the capacity to think about my daughter at that time. So I didn't have the capacity to actually address all these things with him. So it literally took our 4th counselor. We went to 4 counselors within the time of first and year 10. And she dragged it out of me. I don't know how she saw it. She said, something else going on, something else going on, something else going on. Anything that you ain't tell him, something going on. And she dragged it out of me. And when I told her that story, she said, that's it right there. Because I cried and I cried. And that was the first time I said out loud, like, you did not have me. And you didn't have our kids. Like, you just were gone physically, everything. If my daughter was in the hospital for 5 months, he probably came to the hospital 4 times. Just getting back, I had to go to the hospital like 3 times a day. Nurses would tell me, if she don't have breast milk, she would not survive. My breast was not working. But I cried many days, got in that car, went to hospital. And she was in there for 5 months. Thank God, she started breathing on her own on Christmas Day. And God showed me he still does miracles. But I didn't talk about it with him for years until I was in counseling. And when I talked about it in counseling, the lady said to my ex-husband, did you ever apologize to her? He said, apologize? You know, I can't, I don't know about death. I have never experienced death. And then she told him, say, Michael never experienced some death with somebody close to her either. And let's put the baby aside. Can you apologize for not showing up as your husband? Maybe not showing up, but you didn't show up as a husband. And eventually he turned to me and he said, I'm sorry for not showing up as your husband. And like all the weight just came off me. And Superwoman was starting to just let herself go. And I remember that moment because that was my moment of healing. Okay, where the healing started. And from there, the artistic side of me just bloomed because I was now open again. Mm-hmm. But as I opened myself up again, he closed himself more.
And was that the demise of your marriage at that particular point, or was
that was not the nail in the coffin? I was still fighting. You were
still fighting, trying to hold it together.
Trying to hold it together because the healing came, and now I'm open again. So now I want the marriage that I feel was robbed. Mm-hmm. I am now emotionally open again, and he was still closed. So as I fought, he kind of was still closed. As I fought harder, he got more distant, and the demise came with adultery.
Okay.
He cheated, and I still wanted the marriage. I still wanted to reconcile. So we went to our fifth counselor. Like, counselor was me. Let's go. But I initiated all the reconciliation.
Right.
But when the second adultery happened, I said, no, this is not how I want to live my life. Mm-hmm. I said, the Lord wants me to live an abundant life, and this is not an abundant life. And when I stopped trying, the relationship
just
ended. Not a contact. So this hurt me more. More than adultery hurt me is that he never tried to reconcile himself, ever. If I didn't try to reconcile, he didn't try to reconcile. He didn't call. It was no communication. And that hurt me more than anything. So he totally but if it's actually a gift. Mm-hmm. Because if the adultery did not happen, I don't know if I would have been able to walk away.
Well, in all things,
God works out for your good. So I was like, I was hurting then.
Work together for good.
I was hurting then, but I'm finding myself so much that now I gotta say, God, thank you.
Listen,
thank you.
I can truly say, and for those of you listening, audience, I'm sure you'll join me in saying, Michaella doesn't look like that story she just gave us. She surely doesn't look like the story that she gave us. Mm-hmm. So let's just now talk a little bit on the other side of it, right? I can relax
a little bit, because guess what? I was getting into some...
Yeah, that's all right.
That therapy was like, okay.
We gave them enough for right now.
Okay.
Right? So let's talk about the other side of it.
But before I leave, I just want to say that him and I are way better as co-parents, and we are both putting our kids first, and for that, I am so thankful. We both know that our kids are first, and for that part, I am thankful. He is a good father.
Amen.
I must say that.
Amen.
Yes.
Not all could say that.
Yes.
No.
I could say that. He's
not
a good
all
father.
could say that.
Yes.
So let's talk about how has it been with you the second time around. Like, how did you even find the courage to say that you're willing to do a second time around? You been out dating in the streets? Like, what's happening?
Divorce. Oh my gosh! Before I start about my dating experience after divorce, I want to say, before the Holy Spirit released me to say I'm able to get a divorce, he said, and you will not date for a year. You will not accept a number, because when you talk, you start falling. You will not accept a number. And literally during that year, 3 persons told me they want to give me my number. I say, I'm separated, I'm not divorced. I don't care. I said, can't accept the number. There's one guy, I wish I could find him. I can't find him anymore. But anyway, I didn't accept numbers because the Holy Spirit told me, you're not going to date a year, and you're going to unpack all of this, and you can continue your individual therapy. And that's what I did. So I did not date for a year. And then I started to trust myself again. I said, let me just get back out here, what could be the worst? The worst is I have a bad date, and I don't go on a next date. I had a friend who's very single. She was like, girl, come on. That's when I tried the Bumble app.
Uh-oh.
Very overwhelming. Very overwhelming. I did it, but I don't think it's for me.
Okay.
I think I'd rather meet somebody through another friend or meet somebody through the arts industry, maybe acting and stuff, but meet somebody in the community. Like, I'd rather see them first. That's a preference. Doesn't mean I won't try to date an app again. I would. I'm open, but I think that's my preference. I would say at first it was rocky. Mm-hmm. At first it was like, God was showing me like, it ain't gonna be easy in the streets. I'm like, it can't be this hard. because the dates were awful. And I'm not going to share my worst experience, but I'm just going to say the second time I went out on a date after divorce, it was scary because the guy didn't want to drop me home. Like, I had without thinking, I had somebody pick me up from my house, and he did not want to drop me home. Even if though I said I was tired, we just going to go he did not want to drop me. We went 4 places with a little, I wouldn't say argument, saying, I am ready to go home. He finally dropped me home, and that was a block and delete. That one that was there was the only block and delete I've ever done. But I was a little scared. And I said, never again is they picking me up from my house. Never again, unless I know this person. Like, no, this person. So it was rocky at first, but as I continue to be open, and still trust God and trust the discernment, it got better. I would say there was maybe 2 prospects of relationship in 2023. And for different reasons, I didn't think that, I was ready or they were ready. I think that both of us needed some healing, some more healing in different ways.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Well, the journey continues.
It continues.
Right? The journey continues.
It continues.
Now I know we're in with some time, right?
But the prospects got better, ladies. You had it got better, okay?
So real quick, in less than 60 seconds, are you open to remarriage?
I am so open to remarrying. I desire a partner, and I think sometimes that is hard for us ladies to say that that's what I desire. I desire a partner. I desire for somebody to say, I got you, Michaella. Yeah, you're Superwoman. You could do it, but you ain't gotta do it with me. You just could relax and woosah. Let me cook you a meal. Like, I desire a partner. And that's not selfish because I'm gonna also be their helpmate.
Right.
Where they are weak, I'm gonna be strong. But I desire that wholeheartedly. I wanna get married again, but I wanna do it right. I'm not gonna be rushing. But I'm gonna do it right.
All right. Well, now we're to that time where we have the we want to know. The audience said what it is that they want to know. You know, they didn't get that much. Anyway, last segment. That's okay. And you know something, we improve every time we go on.
We
so
do.
now we have the we want to know segment.
Yes.
And Michaella, I have the awesome privilege of asking you to pick a question.
I get to pick the we want to know segments.
Yes.
I'm in the chair where I get to pick.
Yes.
I've never
These
been
are
in
the
this chair.
questions that the audience would have sent in. So let's see what question they have for us today.
Okay. I really should have brought my glasses. Oh, okay. I see it. We teach in marriage that 2 become 1. Why is that we do not teach persons that they should not lose their self as 2 become 1? Are you answering that first?
Yes, you
Was
have
I
the
the
hot
hot-
Yes, because you in the hot seat. And guess what? You have 30 seconds to answer that question. 30 seconds.
That is a great question. And I want to talk as a woman. I think it's God's intention for us 2 to become 1, because the marriage is the most sacred bonding agreement, and God intended for it to be love. He intended for a husband to love the wife like Christ loved the church, and for the wife to be the helpmate and submit to her husband. So he intended that to be so strong that he encouraged the 2 to become 1. But the next side is, as 2 become 1 and children enter, yes, you can't lose yourself. So I do believe that, yes, there should be more books talking about trying to still be you within all the other roles that you're gonna have. Because you're gonna have wife, you're gonna have daughter-in-law, you're now a mom, and you have a career, and you have your passions, you have ministry. How do I still have me? And what helps me is that I always return to what I love. So acting and being artistic, no matter what's going on, I will still always return to that. So I would say, keep yourself, and the things that you love, still do it. Like, I remember my friends saying, okay, women, sometimes we cut out everything we like when we get married, but men don't do that. So women, if it's something that you love, do not cut it out. Communicate to your husband that's something that you love, and is the right husband, he will support you. And that, for me, that was my art, my acting, my directing, and that's how I keep myself. Every time that I stray away, I go back to my center, which is my art.
I think the only other thing that I would add to that is, while they are finding themselves doing the things that they love, make sure they have conversations with the right kind of people that's around them as well.
True.
That's going to help to, listen, okay, Rhea, you're going a little off path here. No. You're losing yourself. Man, hold yourself together.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have those kind of girlfriends around you that could say these kinds, that could be very honest with you and make sure that you are doing the things that you said that you're going to go ahead and do.
They holding you accountable.
Absolutely, they are. So we need to make sure, be mindful that we're going to make sure that we keep ourselves accountable. We're holding ourselves, holding our friends to the things that we said that we're going to go ahead and
do and accomplish.
So that we don't lose ourselves, because it's going to be very, very difficult for us to find ourselves again.
I feel that.
Well, you know something. Wow, Michaella, I don't even know what to say, but thank you so much for having me to sit in this seat and start off this brand new season. I know you're probably saying, you know something, I don't want to be in this hot seat anymore.
I do not.
But that's okay. That's okay. For you, our viewing audience, thank you. Thank you for joining us. And guess what? Welcome to season 2 of a Safe Space podcast. I want to remind you, listen, if you haven't joined in on the family, come a little bit closer. Who knows? All right, come a little bit closer. Make sure that you like this YouTube channel. And guess what? Not just only like it, but make sure that you share it. Tell your friend, tell your mommy, tell your auntie, tell your sister, tell whoever you think may need to know about what it is that's happening here on a Safe Space podcast. All right? That's it for right now. I'm Rhea Christina, and I will see you next time around.
Yes.
Yes, I want to heal. Yeah. Wait, I got to feel. No. Ooh, I just don't know. But I want to grow. Where can I go? To a safe place. Talking about a safe space. Yeah, a safe space.